Hello, my name is Remi. Today I want to talk about the size and the onset of sexual maturity in female dresses adolescents in New Zealand. First, why do we need to do this research? That is because this kind of lobster is very delicious and expensive and costs many commercial factories out here. So it is important to do something to manage these kinds of exotic species. And there is New Zealand. We determined 27 locations around this island. And our purpose is to describe the maturity size of female dresses adults in New Zealand water using new and published data, and also consider the relationship between maturity size and water temperature at different locations. And we have 3 ways to getting sample. First is catching sample. It is conducted on board commercial vessel fishing with pot. And another is marking sample. Pop catch lobster carried out in fish proceeding shell before the land will proceed. And marking sample were not used in the egg bearing season because it is illegal to land bearing female. The last one is tagging program, conducted on board commercial or research vessel, and the lobster will be taken by diving. We have several ways to determine sexual maturity. First is the presence of internal egg. Like this one, we can easily see much egg at their abdomen. And the next one is the presence of the well-developed satin on the endocyte of the pear pod. And this one is pear pod. And satin is inside the pear pod and it can catch their egg at their abdomen. Next one is stage in ovarian development. This is ovarian, and when its color turned orange and yellow color, that means it is mature. And the next one is the presence of spermaceti. This one is spermaceti, and its purpose is to receive and store the sperm from the male. And we have 2 ways to measure the size. First is rectal carapace length is at the blue line, and internal carapace length is the orange line. And rectal carapace length is usually 1 to 2 millimeters less than the internal carapace length. We use the tool like this one. And also give another definition that will help us read the data easily. First is size frequency distribution will group into 5 millimeter size class. And when the size maturity rate of this size reach 50%, we define that is maturity. For example, you can see this figure. X-axis is carapace length and Y-axis is frequency. Orange line is 50%. So if the lobster at this place, their size is larger than 90 millimeters, that means it is mature. And this is our result. We collect the sample from 1960 to 1979. And we record the area and sampling dates and water temperature. We have surface and bottom and in winter and summer, and record the size. And I draw also a chart below. First, you can see from the size 1 to size 7 is at the west side of the New Zealand. And the x-axis is carapace length and y-axis is frequency. So you can see as the size grows, the frequency will also increase. So we can know from what size can be called mature. But there are some exceptions. For example, area 3 and the blue line. And this size is larger than the smallest sexual maturity size, but the frequency is not achieved 50%, so it will be hard for us to determine the size at this place. And another is area 5, the orange line. And the percentage mature in the large size class steadily decrease, but we can explain by this one because migration. Lot of lobster migrate from Volvo Strait to Flora coast, and increasing in commercial catch of crab lobster occurred along the flowing coast in November to January, and our sampling date is February to March. So that may be the reason cause the irregularity of the data. The next one is from site 8 to site 17. It's at the east coast of the South Island. The next one is from site 18 to site 27 at the east coast of the North Island. And we find the variation in sexual maturity size with time. And you can see at Flora from site 5 to site 7, their sampling data are different, but we get a very similar size for each place. So we can say at the Flora, their sexual maturity size is about 85 millimeters. And you can see the variation in sexual maturity size with location. We find the smallest size is on the east coast of the Northland. It's about 72 millimeters. And you can see this figure. Their size is smaller than other, and it corresponds to this place at the east coast of the North Island. And the large size is at the area of Football Strait and Otago is about 121 millimeters. And see this figure. The size is larger than other, and all at Football Strait and Otago. And this data also implicate for fishermen management. For example, in Kentai-Tahania area, maturity size is a 1072 millimeters at the age about 3 to 5 years, but the minimum legal size is reached at the age of 9. So majority of female will have 4 to 6 breeding seasons before catching. But there are some, for example, Otago and South Island. The minimum legal size is less than the sexual maturity size, and female need more than 7 years to grow from the minimum legal size to the sexual maturity size. And next, we add the temperature to the result. And you can see this figure. X-axis is temperature, and Y-axis is size. If the lobster live in the hotter water, and they will achieve sexual maturity size at the smaller size. So we find the inversion relationship between maturity size and water temperature by this book. And we find the hotter water are favorable for growth in length and ovarian development. So they will mature at the smaller size and earlier age. And the mature size is reached at different age in different area. And the water temperature are not the only factor will affect the result, such as growth rate, age, metabolic rate, and population density, food available, or other environmental factors will also affect the result. Thank you.
You use the table and you didn't remake it. Is it hard to look? Is it hard to know? And some of your slide font is disappear. Is cut off of your picture or something.
She marks the points in the figure. It is clear to understand. And she puts many figures in this paper, so I can easy to read. But I think she is too nervous.
Your introduction slide is well prepared, and your self-made figure with a map is easy to read. But the conclusion slide sentences is incomplete, like you're missing the first word should be capital, and your punctuation is missing.